everyone, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University. Today we are reviewing Decorum. This game plays 2 to 4 players by Floodgate Games, and we are going to give you a quick overview first before we let you know what we think of this.
Yes. So this game is a puzzle deduction game, cooperative, shared among players who have unshared information. So everyone's trying to meet their own objectives collectively without knowing each other's objectives for sure. And the theme that this sets in is decorating a house, which is a very, very delightful theme for this sort of game. Basically, everyone may not know exactly what they want, but they know what they like, and everyone is going to be trying to decorate this house as best they can to match their wants and likes. And what you need to do is find a mutually agreeable arrangement.
So this is a scenario based, so it comes in different envelopes, 2 players, 4 players, 3 players, and so on. Yep. And so it's a set.
Yes, so you'll open the envelope, you'll have some cards inside it, and there'll be one card that gives you the setup. So this one here, this is your first scenario. This is how the game begins. And then
maybe we'll give you a different.
Then each player will get one card.
Yes.
This is spoiler free. I won't show these to you, but they will have some number of criteria that each player wants to meet, and these could be things like,
what? It's slightly spoiled. Slightly spoiled. I'm going to pull out a card that you don't know what envelope it's coming from, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So, for example, like this. So, we don't know from where. It's like your room must contain a lamp, might be painted yellow, or the house must contain all 4 of the curious. So, which is this, for example, that sort of things. And there are other things like you want the room to contain, I don't know, like 4 things on the left side of the house, 4 things on the right side of the house, things like that.
So in each round, each player takes a turn, and your turn, you can pass it, or
only if your objective is achieved.
Yeah, or you can make one change to the house. So you could add an object, you could remove an object, you could replace an object with the same type of object of a different color, or you could repaint a room, like so. And after you have made that change, your teammates can tell you essentially whether they like that change, so whether which essentially means whether it brings them closer to one of their objectives, whether they don't like the change, meaning it takes them further away, or whether they are indifferent to that change in the context of their objectives.
Their own objectives.
Each player will do that in each round. Then you'll advance to the next round, and you have up to 30 rounds to finish the game. The deeper you get into the scenario, you'll start reaching what's called the heart-to-heart meeting phases, and these are opportunities. Essentially, once you progress and you haven't solved it, you get to share objectives with each other. So in the 2-player game, it would be when you get to round 15, 20, and 25. At that point, you share one of your objectives. You just read it off the card to the other player. If you're playing at 3 or 4 players, then you also do these in rounds 5 and 10.
Now, in the higher player counts, it's slightly different. So there's a slightly variant in 3 players, but essentially in 4 players. Obviously each player has got its own objective, big objective. There's also a setup card as usual, and there are things that puts you in certain rooms. Say, this is the 2-player board. So on the other side, can I just quickly mess it up?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, except instead of a bathroom, there's 2 bedrooms.
Yes. So there are 2 bedrooms, and then the players will start with a certain bedroom.
Yep.
For example, like that. Let's say certain rooms. And it's like your room means that your room that you are
presently in.
presently in. You can swap rooms for whatever reason.
Yep. So one of your,
Yes.
you get the extra action where you can say, you know what, the decorations in this room aren't panning out. I'm going to room with you instead.
Yeah, but you can choose to do those actions, those swapping furnitures and so on from. You don't have to be in the same room to do that. And what's different mainly is that each player, let's say the green player, also gets these cards. Now these cards basically the same thing. So there are 3 objectives in this card. Let me just double check. And each of the objectives are actually stated in here. So when you have a meeting, you may choose one other player to give this to. So you must choose one card and choose one other player. You may not want to do that, and other players does the same, so you can do that. You swap clues.
Yep.
You think that, oh, that player is going to help me, that player is not going to help me. And at the next meetup, you can choose to get your stack and then give the same one to a different player or give another one to any players.
Yep. So
So
you're sharing your objective with one player, not all players.
Yes. So that makes it really interesting and make it. Anyways,
Yes.
let's keep that to the review part.
Which I think we're up to. So that is how the game
Oh,
works.
there you go.
There's different scenarios in the box, and the sooner you can complete them, the better.
It is a cooperative game, and this is I love this game. This is puzzle deduction that not a single player can dominate everything. There's hidden informations inside each player's objective, so you don't know what they are. You can try to deduce, okay, so this doesn't work, that works, and you like this, but you don't like that, and you think that, okay, that player is probably like this, and then this is where you think that, okay, who you should share the information to in that 3-4 player game. I find myself enjoying the 4-player games more than the 2-player because of that, that's extra step. Okay, I want to share this one with this player, or this player, or this player. Who do you think is more valuable that you share this particular information with, right? Yeah. And I was like, you find like if this players keep changing your room to the color that you don't like. Okay, just give this objective that you want your room red, for example. And then that player may give you, okay, I want the player, that room yellow. So you might then, move to another room, for example. So that, it still plays well in 2 players, but in the 4 players, there is this extra challenge that you need to meet. And that puzzle deduction is just great. It's just like this fun. And then you can role play it as well. Okay, that looks really terrible. I really don't like the modern artwork. I really don't like it. But you can't really say what you like, obviously. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it does what it sets out to do really well. From a puzzle deduction standpoint, that sort of hidden information, it's clever. I really do like the theme. I think that's the cleverest thing about the game is the theme, because it's if you're looking for a situation where multiple players would have different preferences, but they wouldn't share them with each other. This is it, because no one quite knows what they want. This card doesn't tell me, I definitely want cool colors with cool objects. It's like, no, I don't know what I like until I see it. And that's kind of how this works. And they've made whole sitcom episodes about the fact that decorating a house is a guaranteed couple fight situation. And so they've built all of that into here. So that side of it's really good. Mm-hmm. It works well as a puzzle deduction game. Puzzle deduction games, they're not my favorite sort of game.
I know that, yeah.
But this is a very fine example of one.
What works.
Yeah.
If I can say one tiny itty bitsy negative things about it, is that you just have to read your clue carefully, because if one person does not, it happens to me, I did not read my clue carefully and got it wrong, because the description, it could be very, very, you need to be really accurate to read it. Yeah. So sometimes it could be slightly ambiguous if you don't read it carefully, and that would probably ruin the whole game. So
yeah, that's true. And that is always a pitfall of a hidden information game.
Yeah, the cooperative hidden information game. Yeah. So that's it. Just read it carefully, because some of the a clue, smart, like, okay, what does that mean? What does it actually mean? So you need to just make sure, because if you get it wrong, that means the scenario designed so that everything can work together. Once you get the things right in the right location, the right paint, then everyone will fulfill their objectives. Otherwise, if one person get it wrong, or one of the objectives, that means they won't be able to achieve what everyone needs, and you won't win the game, basically.
It steps up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The first scenario is quite tutorial in nature, but by the time you get to scenario 5, I think you've each got 5 objectives to manage, and it takes a fair effort to step through that.
Yeah.
So it's good. It comes into a level of difficulty sooner. There's also a couple of secret envelopes.
Ooh.
Going to add a couple of different rules to the game as you
Probably
go
guess,
through.
yeah. We won't show what they are, but that's
No spoilers there, but
Yeah.
some extra mechanisms coming.
And I'm hoping that once I get through all the scenarios, they will release extra scenarios. Or it's something that you can download, maybe online, something like that.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing
Yes.
that should work with an app. They can design more scenarios,
Oh, yeah.
and then
Please.
you can have your scenarios on your phone by
Yeah.
allocating players.
Yeah, indeed. So that is Decorum. Highly recommended if you like puzzle deduction, cooperative, where there's some hidden information. If you enjoyed this video, if you can please hit the like button. We really appreciate it. And subscribe to us if you haven't already done so. Hit the bell so you get notification when we have new videos. We do videos like this one, review, Terrence How to Play, my short and sweet, and a few other things that we do together, like live playthrough on the weekend. I'm also on Instagram. Find me there, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.